This tutorial will show you how to make a simple stop-motion animation with Adobe After Effects. This is the hero of our animation, and this is the camera I used. It's on a small tabletop tripod, but you can use a stack of books or other objects to steady your camera. Here's how I set things up, with the camera on the floor pointing towards the ghost and with some other objects to create some scenery. And here is the final animation that I'll be showing you how to make. So I've opened up After Effects, and the first thing I want to do is ensure your screen looks like mine. From the window menu, I choose Workspace and Standard Workspace, and then click the Reset Standard button. This will make your screen look like mine. Next, I'll create a new composition. Choose the Composition menu, then New Composition. Then I need to choose a preset depending on the type of video I want to make. I'm choosing PAL DV as I know the ratio of width to height will match the images from my camera. I also set the duration to 10 seconds as I know my animation will be very short. The default is usually 30 seconds. Next, over on the left, I'll import my camera images. I'll right-click and then choose Import File. I'll then navigate to the folder containing my camera images and select the first image. I'll make sure that JPEG sequence is selected, as I want to import all the images, and I'll also check that footage is selected. This will combine all of the images into a single video clip. It takes a moment to import the files. Once they're imported, I'll drag them down into the timeline, and the image appears in the composition window. I can see my images are very large, as I used a high resolution setting on my camera. If I zoom out using this zoom tool, I can see the edges of the image. If I then click on the corner and hold down Shift, and then drag the mouse, I can scale the images to fit my video size. Holding down Shift constrains the proportions so I don't squash up my images. After that, I can zoom out again, choosing Fit up to 100%. Using the playback controls over on the right, I can watch the animation. This will be very slow the first time I play it back, as After Effects has to recalculate each frame of animation. This is called rendering. Next time I play it back, it will be quicker as the rendering has completed. I'd like my animation to play back more slowly. In the timeline, I can see the animation lasts for only 1 second. So I'll go back to the project panel and right-click on my footage. From the menu, I choose Interpret Footage and then Main. Currently the video is set to playback at 30 frames per second, so I'm going to change that to only 6 frames per second. And then I'll click OK. That reinterprets the footage, and in the timeline we can now see the animation lasts for just over 5 seconds. I need to click the end of the footage and drag it to match the new duration. Then I'll rewind and play back the animation again. It's very slow again, as After Effects has to re-render the frames. It takes a bit of time to do that, so we'll just have to wait. When it reaches the end, we see some blank frames. This is because the work area is longer than the duration of the animation. To stop it showing the blank frames, I'll click and drag here to resize the work area, dragging it along to the end of the animation footage. That will prevent any additional blank frames at the end of the animation. Let's rewind and play back one more time. Now that looks a lot better, so I'm ready to export the final video file. From the File menu, I choose Export and then Add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue. This will start up Adobe Media Encoder, which converts between different file formats. It takes a moment to load. Now that it's loaded, I can choose one of the many file formats to export my video as. There are lots of different options, for example, YouTube High Definition. But on this occasion I'm going to choose YouTube Standard Definition. Then I press the Start Queue button, and this exports the video to this file in this folder. If I wanted to export a different file format, such as Vimeo, I simply click and drag the format over here. I can then choose the path and file name and select a new folder and file name for my video. When I press the Start Queue button again, it exports the video. This time it exports to my desktop. Now let's take a look at the final video.